Thank you, Jay and BookThug. It's great to have the book come out. I apologize for my squeaky voice. It's the best it's been in a couple of weeks. So, I'm going to read several poems from the middle section of the book. And I'm going to start with this first one, testimonial. If that word becomes wildflower, for whatever reason, it might extend our reach beyond the familiar field of impressions and might suggest, if only in a flattened form, an image of proliferation. Sometimes in the if the whim graspeth thee, it may recall the muddy delta's intake of air, the silting and mouthing of the word for water, taking to a boat to row upon row upon row, until we deposit some new expression for the partially open mother of pearl. And if by some incredible chance the unsettling provides, between the tides, a blossoming from tiny pencils, initially confined to small areas, but gradually covering the entire surface, then in our minds this long-delayed birthday cashes in on more than a bank of flowers and the invention of balloons, and toys with secrets of orientation, weight, and measure, the mention of tender, slow liquid, almost verbatim, the ringing of bells, and there you iris them completely. Sound like I've been smoking cigarettes for a couple of days. The view from here. If not under acres of canvas and hide, then bruised and dizzy. If not suffering what some distortion might suggest, cracking and dividing, then the world grows older. One attends to all of this, and one recovers all those failures that render us into eclipse, into the meaning of meantime, high noon under hollow trees, what with and clothed with one short word of explanation. All our lost mobility obscures the silent horseshoe, the crucible, the vapor gathering, and the hounds that pursue it along the cliff's entanglements, out and into. Blankets of blue stem grasses hover seemingly like the horseshoe under cover of darkness, all part of the matter of hours that furnish us under what roof and which stars. This channel, the waves. Following the drought of many winters, of seemingly infinite waters, and the phosphorus light that bathed both shadows and selves, and all the poverty the pavilion could afford, tuned into that irregular pulse, what signified the space between, or the spaces, the sounds taken together, initially out of earshot, but now out of doors. So as not to wonder or mind too awfully the delectable blend of definitions and some of the anomalies in the streets adjoining. Great big sounds of great big times straining to overcome the inconvenience of a low ceiling and how it almost obliterates our gossamer and complex screen. How this seemingly infinite moment and opened air cry above the clamor, the circling, the running water, having thought to tell first of the dream, which was fluid and confusing. Everything miniature in the treehouse, ancient fabric, shades of pink offset by silvery white, the jingle of coins. Describing it seems pointless unless we consider the recurring photographs of city streets at night. Their source and its mouth once lingered as snowbanks, now melting into the curve of fireflies that never question their light. their rapture unfailing, their manifold duties and perfect proportions remind us once again of what the point was. Sliding inkwell on a frosty morning, the large yellow house, all the more peculiar for having lain neglected, odder even than the dot on everyone's lips, or on the one who dreams it. The full story. Certain facts seem clear, nevertheless, in the sense of holes and Rome so full of fountains. Since then, one is tempted to press the haunting melancholy of his face into service, to circle the running water, its shrinking pools for some blessed, inexplicable attraction, because it was convincing, because it wasn't Paris, not a word of unwanted pigments, the weather-beaten profile, deserted streets. Folded arms on the balcony of shivers, certain premonitions noisy as ever. Soft ripples resemble the various endings, odor of brocade suspending the warm wood floors initially, where trembling suggests fear. The quiver and clutch of astronomers cling to their nocturnal enclosure. Gentle rains penetrate the dome. Everything in proportion, elastic, subtle, and buoyant. As if toward the heavens, those dots make a picture. It hovers, then suddenly dissolves, puzzled now by the overflow crowd, hidden from view. In one dark corner, a ladder is a chair, is the floor. 3 entries before Epiphany. A veiled suggestion sits back then, waiting for the lightning glance and its musical, high-pitched voice. An eye winks at the interplay, shadows and words, and thus the most telling, and odor, oftener. Choice. Enter poverty. Enter beds of soil and something unusual living in the neighbor's tree. Enter a notion of present and future, the way it continues to turn one's head and scatter this waking of birds. Now enter the guests, sometimes feathered, always restless. 30 feet or more above the ground with name tags that suggest some correspondence with the space around the tree. Include the island, isolated peninsulas, cliffs and swallows. Enter the few noteworthy exceptions such as luck and youth and a pastel-colored carriage yawning in the pensive street. Enter the stranger and something strange, like an ideal morning, or a doppelganger, or 2. Enter erudite and leave hopelessly lost. Enter the willing, the ever-enlarging circle, and the book with the chapter on growth that rings. Enter inter alia, nevertheless the very notion among them. Enter unannounced, welcome and long overdue. Enter loud and persistent, dragging a wing, and hum. Always the unsettling. Sidewalks widened when we set out, grateful for the presence of blue. Little white stones at the root and behind it too, the wilderness. How and how soon the way continues, undulating toward and away from the melting boundaries, the way it might happen. Beginning with the end, becoming a larger, immensely lonelier world than the one we had gathered, near temples, on bridges, beneath the pendulum, always intent on redemption as it turned out. Had anyone noticed how strenuously our passion pulled on tree-lined streets, always absorbing like chlorophyll on any given day? And with it, we question the mutant forms that keep springing up, and the small fires burning can't help but highlight the dust that settles over the years making them. Or was it the other way around? You know how it is. Strange things do happen. Time is past, hints of a fluttering vibrato. Place is elsewhere, so that we, the restless heroines, might now complete everything we prepared for earlier. And the last poem, the end. We don't always stay where we belong. Sometimes we wander, engrossed by slippers and tiny irises, shuffling sleepily alongside the baby blue vinyl siding of an unfamiliar garage. Well, someone is backing out of the driveway. This puts me in mind of monks, and I spend a long time reconsidering everything the table of contents suggested, including even this dilapidated pocket comb, stunningly intertwined with the leafy suburb. What apparently runs wild in these here parts surprises everyone. Look at me, unkempt in the surprising foliage. Did I hear no? Parting shots can easily make one feel slightly crazed. Up to a point, this could be a selling feature. There is always the night and its insight, which isn't always understood, but somehow fits into the room, maybe. Anyway, it is an option we might consider during this curious lull. The kettle is simmering, the paint is peeled, flags are faded, and there are countless signs of impending doom. Was that Sears or seersuckers? What of the barely perceptible slowness easily missed by all the targets? They are completely flattened long before the boat drifts into the frame. As if floating from sea to shining, we can thank our lucky. Its contents scale down the unguarded wall and make a dash for the odd play of a sunny day or equivalent last sentence. The hours are complicated with honey there. Thanks.